We are looking for 2 volunteers, maybe 16 and above, to halfway through leave with kids to go on downstairs and play the eyeballs to be sure everybody's kept safe and nobody's walking around with scissors and that kind of stuff. So if you want to get 1 volunteer, anybody else? Yes, awesome. So halfway through, when it's time to kick the little kiddos out, please feel free to join them.
We're not kicking anybody.
When they are invited to go elsewhere and not carry scissors. Wow, Kristen's going to ixnay on the... Okay, where was I? Now, about halfway through the service, children will be invited to leave the sanctuary and do activities downstairs if they wish. Babies and children of all ages are welcome in the sanctuary during the service. But we also have a nursery for those that are 6 months to 5 years. Each Sunday, we broadcast the service on Zoom. And if you all are on Zoom right now and you want us to see you, if you're comfortable turning your cameras on, feel free to do so. You don't have to. Let's see. Each Sunday, we broadcast the service live on Zoom. Those who are not able to join us in person, we take time to greet one another. So let's do that now. Those here in the sanctuary, please look over here to the camera and wave a big hello. Let me hear you. Hello. Wow, that was really cool. All right. Yeah, awesome. The monitor's over here now, and up here, and up here. Now, if you're joining us by Zoom, please start waving to us as well and give us a big hello. Hello.
Hello.
Awesome. Oh, I love this place. And the third way we greet one another is for those who are on Zoom to greet one another in the chat. And for those in the sanctuary, if you're able to get up and join us, greeting one another, or if you care to, just wave to one another. Maybe find an unfamiliar face, maybe find somebody that you haven't talked to in a while or 5 minutes ago. Let's all get up and say hi and greet one another.
Hi.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, you bet.
invite everyone to stand in body or in spirit and sing People Look East. People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able. Trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love, the guest is on your way. Furrows be glad, the earth is bare. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course and flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love, the rose is on your way. Stars, stars wait to watch when start is dim. One more light the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love, the star is on the way.
In this season of waiting, this time when the days grow shorter and the nights longer, as we keep watch for hope and peace, joy and love to be born in our midst, may the wings of the Spirit open softly within us, gracing us with inspiration, so that our waiting itself becomes the place of a new creation. Good morning, everyone. My name is, hi, John. My name is Reverend Kristen. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the settled minister of this congregation. I'd now like to invite Erica, Galen, Natasha, Ezra, and Xenia to come forward as we prepare to light our flaming chalice and Advent wreath candles. Please rise in body or in spirit. So Erica and Galen are going to light our chalice. And let's join together in saying the words on the screen. May this light warm our hearts and love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth. As we gather here for worship, we pledge ourselves to the endless search for truth, to the right of each to believe as mind, heart, and conscience dictate, to accept the responsibilities this freedom commands, and to implement our belief in the essential worth and dignity of every human being. Won't you please be seated? Natasha, Ezra, and Xenia, I invite you up to light our Advent candles. And here is your candle. So you're going to light 3. Today's service will unfold a little bit differently than most services here at UUCSS. Today we will share in a service of Advent lessons and carols, which is a really traditional way of saying that we will share a lot of readings and songs together. Our first lesson today is all about the lighting of the Advent wreath. We light an Advent wreath for the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas. As Unitarian Universalists, it's valuable for us to reconsider and reinterpret the traditions of our ancestors. Advent is the season that comes before Christmas, and it's a season all about waiting. I can blow that out. Our UU faith grows from Christian roots. Some UUs identify as Christians and others don't. We also have among us Jewish UUs, UU Buddhists, UU Humanists, UU Pagans, and Unitarian Universalists who don't see a need for any hyphens or modifiers. Together, we grow and change as we share our insights and struggles in response to our spiritual practices. In previous weeks, we lit candles for hope and peace. This third Sunday of Advent, we light a candle for joy. And in many churches, this is called Gaudete Sunday. This is the joyful Sunday because it means that we are more than halfway through the wait. So let's join in saying our Advent candle lighting words. Even in difficult moments, there are reasons for gratitude. Joy is present. We find joy in the people we love, in the beauty we find and create in traditions old and new. We light the candles for peace, hope, and joy. And we'll join in singing our Advent song, Within Our Darkest Night. The words will be on the screen in a moment. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away.
The Reverend Caitlin Cotter-Quailberg, your Minister of Spiritual Growth, and this is Carolyn, who requested to be with us in here today instead of the nursery. So I love Advent calendars. Do any of you love Advent calendars? Right? I've been too sick to enjoy them so far this year. Yes, exactly. But I love all the different ones I've seen on social media, my friends enjoying. I've been vicariously Advent calendaring. And so who has an Advent calendar at home? Yeah? Nice. Nice. Did any of you get an Advent calendar as a gift this year? I did. Both Reverend Kristen and I gave each other Advent calendars without talking about it beforehand. We love them, and we knew that each of us loved them. And last year, my parents gave me the two Advent calendars that I grew up with, and I brought my favorite of them to share with you this morning. I have such fond memories of these from my childhood. This one that I brought for you today that Brian is so bravely holding for me since I'm holding a baby. It says, "A very Merry Christmas," and it's a little different than the ones you find in the store. Instead of little doors that open up to reveal treats or toys or candles or tea or whatever, or socks, this is called A Very Merry Christmas, and it's the story of a little bear who is searching for Christmas. So you can see way out here, and then he travels all through the house until he ends up in the living room. And the last line of this, it's got the story written at the bottom. It says, he finally looked in the living room, and there was Christmas. He finally looked in the living room, and there was Christmas. So he looks everywhere. He looked in the dollhouse and the toy chest. He looked in the fireplace. He asked the baby to please give back the tablet. Thank you, I know it's shiny. And then he finally looked in the living room. So there's a couple of things I love about this Advent calendar. First, it's cute, right? Super cute. Second, my mom made it, and I'm, sentimental about that kind of, right? The other one I have my grandmother made. Yeah, I know, you're a rock star, but let's not touch the microphone. Okay, right? I loved as a kid that it was this familiar story that we slowly walked through over the course of the holidays, right? We knew where the bear was going. You could read ahead at the bottom, right? It wasn't a surprise. It was a carefully plotted out story that we traveled together. And I have to admit, I love it as an adult, as a nerdy adult who went to seminary, because biblical archaeologists have told us that a better translation of the story of Jesus' birth was not out in the stable, but in the main room of a family home. That a better translation is not there was no room for him at the inn, because there weren't inns in Bethlehem at that time, that there was no space for him in the guest quarters. So instead, they were essentially like the biblical equivalent of camped out on the family couch, right? They were staying in the main living space of the room, the living room, with all the animals who'd been brought in for warmth and safety. I'm still figuring out this new tablet. Oh, I think I got it. All right. So finding Christmas in the living room reflects not just what I experienced as a loving reminder of warmth of Christmas in my family home, although it does that, but it's a weirdly and wonderfully biblically accurate story, right? Where's Christmas? In the living room. Sometimes Advent is a series of surprises, tiny doors opening in our lives to sweetness, warmth, joy. Sometimes it is a long, slow journey, a search for what we already know we will find, like a game of hide and seek with the toddler who has already announced that he is hiding in the tunnel. We have faith that when we get there, we will find the love and wonder, the laughter and shining eyes we seek. Thank you, Brian. So it is now time for joys and sorrows, and I invite anyone who has something precious to share this week to come forward and speak into the microphone. After each person shares, please join me in saying, "In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief." And with all those joys and sorrows, all the big and small moments that mark our lives and our hearts, I invite you now into a time of quiet together. If you have suffered a deep loss in the last year, I invite you to stand or raise your hand during the silence so that the congregation can bear witness to your grief.
Spirit of life, God, whose other name is love, as the present year begins to die, help us remember that no season lasts forever, that the days of the greedy and powerful are numbered, that there is a force at work in our world and in us that lifts up the oppressed and fills the hungry with good things. In these days of growing shadow, help us turn away from the glare of life's distractions, so we might accept the gifts the darkness is offering us and follow where the stars are calling us to go. As the festival of lights draws closer, rekindle within us the flame of resistance over and against the powers that lead to assimilation and death, with love of freedom and culture and gratitude for miracles, big and small. In this season of watching and waiting, free us from despair's well-worn ruts. Make through the desert of our hearts and world a way for hope and peace, joy and love to be born anew. Amen, and blessed be. I now invite any children who would like to spend the rest of the service downstairs playing games to leave the sanctuary with our 2 volunteers. Parents, please make sure to pick up your kids after the service. And Michael is going to lead us in singing them out of the sanctuary. Our time together is sacred, and now it's time to part. Though we'll miss being together, you're always right here in my heart. Our third lesson today is a very old story, a parable, one that Jesus told his friends and followers. It's a story often told during the Advent season about a wedding party. And it's a story all about waiting and how hard it can be, but also how important it is to learn how to wait with readiness. This is the parable of the 10 maidens from the Gospel according to Matthew in the Christian scriptures. The coming of the kingdom of God will be like 10 young maidens who took lamps of oil and went out to meet a bridegroom. 5 were silly and 5 were wise. The silly maidens took lamps, but no extra oil. The wise maidens took jars of oil to keep their lamps full so the flames wouldn't go out. The bridegroom was running late, and they all fell asleep waiting for him. In the middle of the night, the watchman yelled out, "He's almost here. The bridegroom is coming. Let's go out and greet him." So the 10 maidens got up and they got their lamps ready. And the silly maidens, realizing they didn't have enough oil, asked the wise ones to lend them some. But the wise ones answered, "No, there might not be enough to go around. Go and buy some for yourselves." So they did, but while they were out buying oil, the bridegroom finally arrived. When everyone who was there to greet him had gone into the wedding feast, the door was shut and locked. Much later, the silly maidens got back from buying their oil and knocked on the door, eager to join the feast. But they hadn't been there when the party started, so the bridegroom didn't know who they were. So keep your lamps ready. Stay alert. Watch and wait, for you have no idea when the bridegroom or the commonwealth of God might finally arrive. In this Advent season, may we all learn how to wait, keeping watch for hope and peace, joy and love to arrive in our world and in our lives. Here ends the lesson.
Our fourth lesson today is called the Magnificat, which in Latin means, "My soul magnifies the Lord." These words, beloved by many, come just after the Annunciation, when the angel Gabriel comes to Mary, let her know she's been chosen by God to have God's chosen child. Many people are familiar with this story, but few are as familiar with its larger historical context. Because in those days, there were lots of stories of gods impregnated women, only in those stories, they never stopped to ask permission, right? But in Mary's Annunciation story, the angel Gabriel seeks her consent. And the words of the Magnificat reveal just how enthusiastic Mary's yes was to God's invitation. Also, yes, Mary did know. I hate that carol. Yeah. So it's in Luke. Mary knew. Hashtag preacher pet peeves, right? So I will be sharing the Magnificat from the Gospel according to Luke 1:46 to 55 from the New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked with favor on the lowly state of his servant. Surely from now on all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name. Indeed, his mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has sown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. He has come to the aid of his child Israel in remembrance of his mercy, according to the promise he made to our ancestors, to Abraham and to his descendants forever." Here ends the fourth lesson. Now let's rise in body, voice, or spirit and join in singing our next carol, "Lo, how a rose ne'er blooming." The words will be on your screen.
I always love that carol. Let's see, our fifth lesson. Every Moment is One by Quinn Caldwell from All I Really Want, Readings for a Modern Christmas. One of my favorite things about the rituals and traditions attached to this time of year is the way they mess with time. My husband and son and I decorate our Christmas tree. As we hang each ornament, the ones we brought from our parents' house and the ones we bought together, we tell their stories. Also, as we do, we find that we are not just standing in the living room that we share, but we're also standing in the footed pajamas in the living rooms we grew up in, decorating every tree we've ever decorated right in that moment. We gather on Christmas Eve with the lights down, the candles lit, and we sing Silent Night. And as we do, it's like we're singing it at every Christmas Eve service we've ever been to. It's like we're singing it at every Christmas Eve service yet to come. It's like by our song, we're calling the birth of God into existence. It's not nostalgia. It's not just a hazy remembrance of the time back when things used to be better than they are now. It's more than that. It's like a collapsing of time, a drawing in of past and future into one long now. Now, theologians would say we're stepping out of ordinary time, or what they call chronos, and catching a glimpse of God's time, or what they call kairos. I got that right, all right. In chronos, minute follows minute, and you can only go forward. That's where we live most of the time. But for God, in kairos, every time, every moment is one. And your favorite Christmas, your last Christmas, this Christmas, and the redemption of the whole world are all happening right now, forever. It's one of the reasons people love this time of year so much, this quality it has for many people more than other times of the year. Let us glimpse the world the way God sees it. So, what things or traditions do that for you? What brings you back to the childhood at warp speed? Whatever it is, you should plan on doing it soon. Everything we do here at UUCSS is possible through the generosity of the people who called this church their own. Our incredible and wonderful music is possible because of the volunteers who share their talents and time with us. We are able to offer incredible pastoral support thanks to the volunteers who collaborate with our minister to reach out whenever we learn someone has experienced a loss, an illness, or a trauma. Our religious education programs happen because of our members, and our friends choose to volunteer their time and commitment in the classroom, on the playground, with our children, youth, and adults. Our bills are paid and our checks are signed thanks to people who share their gifts volunteering in the church office. And the important renovations of the community building and accessibility improvements, which we all know about, around the campus will happen because of all of you. All of you who are sharing your financial gifts to make this happen, and because of a team of incredible dedicated volunteers. Can we give them a hand? Give yourselves a hand, too. Not to mention our incredible tech crew back there, too. Now, whether it's operations or our programs or our ministry or our fellowship, it's all possible because this is a place of giving and receiving over and over and over again. There are many ways to give your gift to UUCSS. And as you will call up on the screen shortly, take a look and you'll be able to see ways that you can help. Now, if you're here in person, or if you have cash or a check, you can put your offering in the plates that will be passed around shortly. May our hearts grow as we practice our generosity together. The offering will now be given and received with gratitude.
push it back in. I'll be extra tall. Good morning. My name is Tamara Bowman, and I'm a member of the board. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Our church is not only the organization that puts together these services, we are a vibrant community of volunteers and staff, a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, and a part of the Global UU denomination. Today we have 3 announcements. Excuse me. Our first announcement is about Christmas Eve. This year we are glad to go back to 2 services with a potluck cookie party in the middle. Reverend Caitlin will lead a family service at 6 p.m., and we will enjoy cookies together at 7 p.m. And Reverend Kristen will lead a Lessons and Carols service at 8 p.m. Whether you come to the family service at 6 or the Lessons and Carols at 8, we hope you will bring some cookies or other refreshments to share for the cookie party, and sign up to serve as an usher. Also, at both Christmas Eve services, we will light candles for all children or grandchildren born or adopted this year. If you welcomed a child or grandchild into your family since last Christmas, please email Reverend Kristen at minister@uucss.org with their name, their relation to you, and their birth or adoption day. Our next announcement is about the capital campaign, so I'd like to invite Sharon Snyder to the pulpit to give us an update on how the campaign is going.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Snyder. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a member of the Opening Our Doors Capital Campaign Steering Committee. We have made exciting progress this past week, as you will hear momentarily. Our goal is to complete all visits and wrap up this campaign by December 18th. That means this week is our final week. We're asking anyone who has not yet met with a visitor to return that email or phone call, please, you received, and get a meeting on your calendar. In addition to making your pledge, these visits are your chance to hear details about renovations and other projects and to ask questions. And we want to repeat that any pledge, no matter how small, is significant. And we'd like every congregant to be a part of our capital campaign, even if it's a very small amount that you can pledge. There's no problem with that at all. If you have not heard from a visitor, please let me or any one of our steering committee members know, and we will be happy to schedule a visit. We are Maggie Hayes, Stephanie McConaughey, not here today, Donna B. Smith, I saw, Tamara Bowman, Beverly Schnetzler, right up here, Emily Tien, Pat Scheid, David Rodriguez, and myself. Please contact one of us today. And now to reveal our latest pledge numbers. As of Friday, we have raised $721,800, which is 60% of our goal. Thanks to all who have given so generously of time, talent, and treasure to make this possible. Working together, we will achieve our vision to being good stewards of our community spaces, planet, and care for each other. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite Fred Teal forward to give his testimonial about what UUCSS means to him and why he and Teresa have pledged their support for the capital campaign.
Good morning. My name is Fred Teal, a member of this congregation. My pronouns are he, him. I'd like to spend a moment this morning to tell you about my relationship with the church. About a decade ago, my wife, Teresa Meeks, and I were seeking a religious home. We visited several local UU churches, but none of them seemed to offer the warmth and the vibrancy of UU CSS. There was an air of openness and a sense of excitement and activity that drew us in and held us fast. Everyone welcomed us with open arms and invited our participation. Teresa became a member of the choir, and I became engaged in Canvas activities and later served a term on the Board of Trustees. Teresa served as collector for several years, and we both enjoyed working on the grounds with other eco-minded members. I had the opportunity to work with the Dream Builders Committee just following the 2015 campaign and help identify a more targeted and affordable vision for our future capital investments. Most recently, I've served on the Capital Improvements Committee to work with other members to identify the repairs needed for this sanctuary and the upgrades and enhancements needed for our community building. The current financial campaign now in progress will help us pay for the improvements coming this spring, and it'll reduce our long-term financial obligations. We will soon be financially stable and a renewed UUCSS. Why am I so involved? It all comes down to three things: community, values, and purpose. Values, community, because in working and celebrating with many of you, I've gradually become a loved and respected member of this congregation, and this means the world to me. Values, because celebrating the interdependent web of life and the worth and dignity of each individual reflects my deepest core values, ones to which this congregation is fully committed. And finally, purpose, because each of us needs to feel that our lives have meaning. Is that not the religious quest that brings us all together? My participation here in this beloved community gives me the opportunity to support my highest values and share my life's joys and sorrows. In conclusion, all of you have given me the meaning and purpose that I seek. There is no greater gift. Thank you.
Please join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
Let's rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, O Come, Emmanuel.
Spirits by
see the whole. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as light to dwell. Oh, come you wisdom from on high, from depths that hide within outside, to temper knowledge with our care, to render every act of prayer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as hope to dwell.
O come, Emmanuel, good with us, God with us. Come as love, as truth, as light and hope to dwell, not only within us, but all around us. We will watch and we will wait, lamps trimmed and burning, ready for hope and peace, joy and love, to be born and with and among us. Our worship now has ended and our service begins. And before the postlude begins, I just want to invite everyone who can to stay after the service. We will be having a crafting and caroling party, and I baked cookies.
Are you burning a little candle high above the Christmas tree? Symbol of a new beginning, faith and hope and sweet release. Remind us of the children's faces full of wonder and surprise, of the laughter in their voices, the sweetness in their eyes, when they wake up in the morning with the feeling in their heart that there's joy in the air, and they know that they're a part. Shine your light on me, little candle. Are you shining, little star, shining in the skies above? Lift us up into the heavens, symbol of the light of love. Are you spinning, little dreidel, spinning tales of long ago? Spinning just a little cradle, tell us what we used to know. Remind us of the children's faces full of wonder and surprise, of the laughter in their voices, the sweetness in their eyes, when they wake up in the morning with the feeling in their heart, and there's joy in the air, and they know that they're a part. Shine your light on me, little candle. Are you watching, little angel, high above the Christmas tree? Angels all around the world, hear us as we pray for peace. Remind us of the children's faces full of wonder and surprise, of the laughter in their voices, the sweetness in their eyes, when they wake up in the morning with the feeling in their heart, and there's joy in the air, and they know that they're a part. stillness, deepest joy that one can know. Are you singing, little children, singing loud and strong and clear, singing all around the world, sing it loud so we can hear.
Remind us of the children's faces full of wonder and surprise, of the laughter in their voices, the sweetness in their eyes, when they wake up in the morning with the feeling in their heart that there's joy in the air, and they know that they're a part.
Shine your light, shine your light, shine your light on me, the little candle, the little star, the little angel, the little children, shine your light on me.
And I had this little meter, plug the meter in. Like, you want this number to be between, like 15 and 25. I'm plugging the meter in, like, why? Battery used to be. It's like, this is something nobody talks about.
I don't know how to get the. What are you doing? Here we go. I don't know. Huh? Wandering and waiting.
Yeah.